In this video, we'll look at how to graph a log function. To graph a log function, change it to an exponential and treat y as the independent variable. So our problem is to graph f of x is equal to the log of x base 3.5. Now we know that f of x is the same as y, so let's rewrite this as y equals the log of x base 3.5. Now to change this to an exponential, I need to use the idea that b to the x equals a is the same as the log base b of a equals x. So my base of my exponential is going to be the base of the logarithm, so 3.5. I know that a logarithm is an exponent, so my 3.5 is raised to the y power, and that's equal to x. So you can see why we need to treat y as my independent variable, because then I can calculate 3.5 raised to some power and get a dependent value. So let's go ahead and set up our xy chart over here to the right. I'm going to put -1 in for y, and then 0, and then 1, and I may possibly need to put 2 also. Now we know that 3.5 is the same as 7/2, so I'm actually doing 7/2 to the y power. That'll be easier for me to calculate. So when I raise 7/2 to the -1, that just flips this over and gives me the reciprocal. So this will be 2/7. When I raise 7/2 to the 0 power, that's equal to 1. When I raise 7/2 to the first power, that's just 7/2, or 3.5. And then when I raise 7/2 to the second power, that's 12 1/4. And if we plot these points now, my x value is 2/7, which is less than half. So when x is about here, my y is -1. When x is 1, y is 0. When x is 3.5, remember this is 3.5, there's 3.5, y is 1. And when x is 12 1/4, y is 2. My logarithm graph goes through these points. And it will be asymptotic to the y-axis. We'll never have a negative argument because that's not allowed.